2022 at 9 a.m. I would now like to call this meeting to order and ask that you please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Father God, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come together to do what is best for this community. I thank you for all that are here in attendance today, Father, for we uplift you, we glorify you, we praise you for all that you have done for this community. Here we are at the end of the year, Lord, and once again, 2022 is ending and we begin a new year here in a few weeks. I just want to give you all the honor and glory and praise and ask that you direct us and show us where it is that you want us to go, to order our steps and give us the guidance and wisdom that we need to bless this community, the people, and the future for all involved. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, motion. Motion finding that the advanced posting and notice requirements of Article 8.1200 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Orange, Texas have been met in relation to all minutes and pending ordinances and resolutions on this agenda, and that the reading of such items be confined to the captions as are agreed upon by the ordinances and resolutions. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. On to item 4, citizen comments. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker. Your comments are appreciated. As the Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to respond to items not listed on the agenda, your comments will be duly noted by the council and forwarded to the appropriate department for prompt consideration. A member of the audience that desires to speak during the City Council's consideration of any specific agenda item is requested to notify city staff prior to the start of the meeting. At this time, the name that I have on my list is Mr. Don Sullivan. Please come forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
I'm Don Sullivan. I live at 1814 Alley Paint Road in Orange. And I want to be brief about a sewer problem that we have in that neighborhood, and I think it's probably throughout, particularly some of the older parts of Orange. I think our homes were built, it's a 4th edition, was built in, I think, around 1960, early 60s. But we have our toilets back up when it rains. I'm sure you expect that you've heard that before. And from, I've actually talked to somebody that is in that kind of business, and I believe that the problem is mainly the sewer lines that are breaking down, some of the older ones that are, I know it would be an expensive project, but we, originally when I contacted the city, recently there was, because of a neighbor who, he thought it was his own sewer lines and he dug up everything. It's not. So I know that it's neighbors across the street next to me and some other neighbors down the street. I have a feeling it's the entire neighborhood, and we'd like to have some relief on that, but I just want to make sure that you're aware of it. And that's all I have to say right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Yes, sir. Please come forward, state your name and address. 3 minutes, please, sir.
My name is Jack Seeley. I live in Beaumont, your westernmost suburb. I'm here to raise your awareness of a nonprofit that's operating in the city of Orange, as well as the rest of Orange County, Jefferson County, and Hardin County. The name of the organization is Sleep in Heavenly Peace. The mission statement is no kid sleeps on the floor in our town. It all started in 2012 when one man found out from his elementary school age child that they had a classmate that didn't have a bed. and child came home and said, "Dad, can we build him a bed?" It morphed, for the lack of a better word, along until 2018, when a man by the name of Mike Rowe, you may remember him from the TV series Dirtiest Jobs, he did some documentaries also called Returning the Favor. He did one on what has become Sleep in Heavenly Peace. As a result of that, there are now 326 chapters around the US and Canada that manufacture a utility grade bed. Of course, this is a bunk bed version. It's made out of simple, what I would call framing lumber, 2x4s, 2x6s, and 1x4s. We've been active since March of 2019. We have delivered 176 of these beds to addresses in Orange. Right now we have 20 on the waiting list. We're having a very ambitious delivery plan for this Saturday, and we hope to deliver all 20 of those. The best estimate is 2 to 3% of the population are kids that are 3 to 17 that don't have a bed of their own. Taking the population of all 3 counties, that's some 8,000 to 9,000 kids don't have a bed of their own. What I'm really after is, by simple observation, it appears that about 80% of the beds go to black families, 15% go to Latino families and Vietnamese. The other 5% go to white families. The volunteer base is exactly the opposite. I'm here asking that those of you in the community or in the room even here that belong to other organizations in the community, churches, civic groups, just groups of friends, please get involved with this program. I have, I think, extra brochures and would be glad to speak to anyone that would like some more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Definitely, we'll get with you following the meeting so we can see how we can share this information with the community. I know we have lots of new companies coming in on Chemical Road that would like to be a part of such a project, so thank you, sir. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time? Yes, sir, please come forward.
My name is Albert Daughter. I live in the Upper Pine Apartments on MLK, between Tulane and Park Street. And that area is a truck route. And the road is damaged so bad from the big trucks that you will tear your vehicle up. Potholes everywhere. And I would like to address the council to see if we can have something done about those cradles in the road. We appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, sir. And you said at Arbor Pine Apartments?
Upper Pine Apartments, even coming out of the apartments, is damaged real bad.
Yes, sir.
And if you turn going toward Tulane,
What is actually the street?
MLK,
MLK.
MLK between Park and Tulane, in the warehouse area.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? If not, we will close citizen comments and move to city announcements. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Michael Spencer. I live at 609 West Park. I came about a month ago, speaking about my issues with my water, and nothing has been done. I'm going on about 6 years dealing with this problem. What the gentleman just said a minute ago, I have the same problems. My water stinks. It's horrible. and I want something done about it. I'm pretty sure if it's y'all water, they wouldn't be smelling like that. You know, this area, the historic district, it's ridiculous. What we have to look at every day, what we have to smell. I don't know if y'all know anything about the Texas Commissions of Environmental Quality, but I contacted them. And they came out and they checked my water. I shouldn't even be using the water. I shouldn't even be using it. I asked for an automatic flush valve. They haven't came out there to even survey it. I understand the nature of it because I don't have any neighbors. Because if your water's not being flushed, it's gonna, ferment and smell. But that's not my problem. I can't put people in the houses, so I need this done. I have family and friends that I would like to visit sometime. But I can't even offer them a glass of water. I actually just took my ice maker out because I wasn't, it's horrible. I wash my clothes and I have to rewash them again or take them to my parents' house. And sometimes their water stinks because they stay right next to me. So, I've just reiterated what he said, and I know y'all trying to build this area up and get people to move here, but I got to be honest with you. I tell people to avoid them. I tell them to avoid it because of the stuff that I see every day. I call to the city hall and I can't get nobody on the phone. Nobody calls me back. You call the cops for disturbances in the neighborhood, and if they do show up, it's an hour later. The damage is done by then. And then when they do show up, nothing's being done about the situation of the person that you called about. They don't take statements. It's ridiculous. I just want to be totally honest with you. And it's coming from my heart. But that's all I have to say today.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. And if you were here a month ago, I apologize if I was not here for that meeting. I did not know that you were here a month ago, but if you have not been contacted, we will find out what we need to do to work on your situation. And as far as any other issues that you have within the city, you can reach out to me at any time. I know I see you pretty often, but if you've had these issues for 6 years, thank you for letting me know about it, but definitely will work with you on that, because I don't want people to feel as if we don't care. I live here, we all live here, we pay taxes as well too, and for you to feel that way, I deeply apologize to you, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment? Okay, if not, we will move on to city announcements. City staff announcements, Mr. Coons. Oh, Ms. Dallas, I'm sorry, Ms. Harrell.
Good morning, council. As you all know, last week, December 3rd, sorry, I'm getting my weeks mixed up. December 3rd, we had our first gumdrop shop. We typically stayed away from Christmas activities just due to there being such an influx, but some things moved around and that weekend was free, and we wanted to do something to help support the Kiwanis Christmas Parade. It was a wonderful event. We hosted it at Stark Park. We had retail vendors, food vendors, Christmas music, kids activities, all other than the retail. And food trucks, the kids activities were all free and no admission. And we just wanted to say thank you all for supporting that as we continue to do new events. We also wanted to publicly thank our support staff, like our park staff. They help us so much through our events. We constantly get comments about, I've never seen from outside, people, not city staff, I've never seen events this clean. I've never seen festivals that continue to stay this clean, and that is all to them. And so we really, really appreciate everything they do before, during, after all of our events to help us set up. And we're excited that we're talking about what Christmas is going to be next year. So keep your ears open, and in January we'll come back with more information on Mardi Gras. So thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay, on to our next item, item 6A, proclamation, the Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church Day. Okay, proclamation from office of the mayor. Whereas the Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church was organized July 1925 by Reverend H.Y. Anderson, the church building was located on Cherry Alley and was later relocated to Godfrey Street. And whereas with the increasing growth of membership under the leadership of the second pastor of the church, Reverend George H. Brown, the Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church was relocated to the present address at 612 North 3rd Street, Orange, Texas 77630. And whereas the late Reverend George H. Brown had a vision from God, a new edifice built from the ground up, and he presented his vision to the membership in 1999, the church purchased additional property to accommodate the new church facility. And whereas in Psalm 127 it says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it." And whereas the official groundbreaking was held in 2004, and the construction began with Abraham Manufacturing Incorporated, the church family was able to remain in the old building until the completion of the new church facility. And whereas the membership entered into the new church facility on October 15, 2006, and whereas under the present leadership of Reverend John H. Smith Jr., officers and members, we find it as a blessed time in the life of the church family when they witness God's gracious direction and generous provision to accomplish such a major milestone. And whereas the service of mortgage burning should provide an opportunity for worship, for praise, for recognition of workers, for godly guidance, and for renewed commitment to the Lord. And whereas this day a mortgage burning becomes an occasion of joyous fulfillment, now therefore I, Larry Spears Jr., Mayor of the City of Orange, Texas, do hereby proclaim Saturday, December 17, 2022 as the Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church Day in the City of Orange, and extend congratulations and best wishes to the past and present members of this congregation who have worked so faithfully and given so generously to make their dream of this mortgage burning to become a reality. In witness whereof, I am herein to set my hand and have caused the seal of the City of Orange, Texas, to be hereto affixed this, the 13th day of December, 2022. Congratulations. Yes, come on up here. So, let me say this, Pastor. Thank you for all you do for this community. You know, I want to say this because I want people to understand what we're doing here in the city is no small feat. We're bringing in things that are going to change the community. Well, when you have leaders who have vision, who are preparing the people for these jobs, as you are, this minister is also training people to be safety certified to step into these positions as soon as they're available. So not only are you leading us here with the Lord, you're also preparing us for what He's bringing to our community. So thank you. The hottest safety course in Orange. Better get you one.
We do take city contract, by the way.
Yes, there you go. Here you go, sir. Yeah, right there, yes, sir. And can you please say a few words and talk about the church? Okay. Yes, sir.
To Mayor Spears and to the council, to everyone here, and to the Mount Calvary Church family. On behalf of the Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church, we want to thank the council and the mayor for this proclamation. The Mount Calvary Church is a church that has been a part of this community for a long time. We celebrate our history. We have over 90 years and only 3 pastors. And in our time here in the city, we have been able to be a part of the work of the community. We've been a part of investing in people's lives, making a difference in people's lives. And this, the event of paying off our church mortgage, it is the largest debt that we've ever had in our church history. and we are proud to say that it is paid in full. By being paid in full, it means that Mount Calvary Church will be here for years and years for our generation and generations to come.
That's a
Pastor, as you know, you are my next door neighbor, literally. Literally.
And we make noise sometimes.
And we love it, it's a joyful noise. Everybody in the neighborhood is out there singing and laughing and enjoying, especially during COVID, when you were preaching outside. And we
Yes.
would just sit in our lawn chairs and listen. So I've been there since '75, y'all been there a lot longer, but congratulations, and y'all are the greatest neighbors a person could ever have.
So two things. One, since you have the church paid off, please let me know who your finance director is, because I need some help with my house. And number two, please, looking at with 1925, so that means you're only 2 years away from a centennial celebration. So please let us know about that, and we'll make sure that we do something extravagant for you, because actually Mount Calvary Church was the very first church that I was a part of.
That's right.
And I remember Pastor Brown used to put his whole hand over your head because his hands were huge. But once again, thank you for all that you do, and God bless you all. Okay, on to item 7, consent agenda, July 5th, 2022, Planning and Zoning Commission City Council Joint Meeting Minutes, October 25th, 2022, Orange Economic Development Corporation Meeting Minutes, November 1st, 2022, Planning and Zoning Commission City Council Joint Meeting Minutes, November 8th, 2022, regular City Council Meeting Minutes, and November 29th, special call City Council Meeting Minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Baker? Oh, sorry, Mr. Childs.
Aye.
Sorry. Okay, motion passes. Okay, on to item 8, presentation on new floodplain software for the Planning and Community Development Department. Mr. Benoit.
Good morning, Mayor, member of council, city manager. I come before you today as the floodplain manager of the city of Orange. And I'm pleased to say we've survived another hurricane season without a major hurricane event or weather event here in Orange. And, but I also want to share with you a new initiative we have today to help people understand the flood threat here in Orange. This is a software program that will allow anyone within the city to gain access about flood information about a specific property. And so what's happening as the participating community in the NFIP, which is the National Floodplain Insurance Program, we're required to perform certain tasks and keep records to stay within the program. And so the NFIP program is what allows the community to receive disaster assistance from FEMA when a major disaster declared event happens. The big things we're looking at is, as the slide depicts, is the increasing number and the severity of the storms, the rising insurance costs with risk rating 2.0, and the long-term threat of climate change and subsidence. The cluster map to the right is actually, it's only a partial, but those are actually the structures that have been damaged here in the city of Orange from a weather event. And that cluster comes from those that have obtained permits. Not everyone came in and purchased a permit or received a permit because we waived the fees. So that doesn't show all of the damaged structures. That just shows the structures that actually came in and received a permit. So here today, there's about 3,000 structures here in Orange that have suffered weather damage. Some of the challenges we face is that the FEMA maps are hard to read. If you notice over on the right, that's our FEMA map. And so it's hard to find a specific structure or even a specific parcel of land on those maps. No matter how much you blow it up or how much you enlarge it, it's really difficult to find a specific property. And flood ordinances, they're kind of complex and they're long. If you remember, we updated our ordinance here not too long ago because in 2021, December 16th, we actually had a new FEMA map that came out. So we had to update our ordinance in order to correspond with the new map. And some of the other things we're required to do is keep track of every significant improvement and every significant improvement and every significant damage that happens on a structure. So we have to keep record of it, and we have to keep that on file. What this software does, it allows the FEMA's floodplain information to merge with the appraisal district. So what we can see is a real live shot of not only the city, but we can actually get down to the individual parcel. And this is something that's accessible from a computer or even someone's individual cell phone. We're also able to upload from our end elevation certificates, pictures of properties or damage, and substantial improvement, substantial damage reports. And this software allows anyone in the community to have access to that information. These are some of the other communities that are using the software. The software is very flexible. Large areas such as Harris County can use the software where they have many properties to upload and keep manage of. And it'll also work for small communities like Port Arthur or Orange, Texas. This is actually what comes up. And so when someone looks up a property, it gives them a pictorial of their property to verify that that's what they're looking for. It gives them a picture of the property. And then as you scroll down, it actually provides for the flood information. It tells you what flood zone you're in. If we have an elevation certificate, it gives you building information about how high the land is, what the elevation of your surface land is, and how high your finished floor level is. So it's a very simple process, and it gives people information all in one place. We can easily track significant damages and improvements on the property. And if you notice there in the center, it lists every event that property was damaged. And that's something that we as a community have to keep track of, because we have properties, many properties that have been damaged more than just once. We have some properties that have as many as 6 damage claims on file for all the various storms. You know, going back to Rita and Ike, the flood damage when they opened the dams in 2016, Harvey, Imelda, even Laura and Delta. So, but the other good thing about this is this software will also allow us to do real-time preliminary damage assessment. So at some point we'll get another storm. The odds are against us. But when it does, this software will actually allow our inspectors to go out there, pinpoint the property, and then be able to do a drop-down preliminary damage assessment on site. And this is significant because it's important that we gather that damage assessment as quickly as possible. Some of the other things it has internal processing that if we do upload an elevation certificate, it looks to correct that elevation certificate. So if someone accidentally puts in the wrong date, if someone puts in the wrong map number, the wrong community number, the software actually goes through with OCR and checks to see that all the information is correct. That's important to us because sooner or later, FEMA comes in and does an audit. They call it community assistance visits, but it's an audit. And we have to show all the records. And we went through this here, I guess towards the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And it's important to have all this information readily accessible as opposed to what we have now in paper. We have it in files, we have it in file cabinets, we have it in notebooks. Some's upstairs, some's in my office. So this allows us to consolidate all that information. This right here is what it's going to look like, and this is actually one that I've taken off of our website. But what it allows is anybody can gain this information by going to the website, putting in your address. And it allows them to make good decisions. Some people that are in a special flood hazard area, they don't even know it. Well, if they knew they were in a special flood hazard area, they may be more apt to go out and get some insurance to protect themselves. Or they need to know how close they are to a ditch or a gully or a bayou to see how far that bayou is going to expand on an expected flood so they can make good decisions. Same thing for a realtor. who's looking at selling a property, someone that wants to buy a property, you would want to know if that property ever flooded. We can provide that with this software. And like I said, the key is, you want to make sure that the public has good information. There's two sides of the software. So there's a public side and there's a private side that we load. And so there's information that we put in on our private side. Not all that information will be available to the public, but we give the public the best information we can. Another thing this software does is it kind of moves us into a position of being able to participate in the CRS program. And this is a volunteer program, but the software stores the information, stores the number of times we do client assistance. And right now, the City of Orange does not participate in this program. But just to give you an insight, this is what the program does. There's some upgrades that it's strictly a voluntary thing. The City of Orange would agree that we would have higher standards than what the minimum standards are that's required by FEMA. And by having the higher standards in exchange, they will give everyone in the community a discount on their floodplain insurance that goes through NFIP. And so the chart to the right actually kind of shows what I've been told or what I've been advised of where we would qualify now based on our last community assistance visit. So right now there was 10 levels, and we would start out possibly at level 8, which only reflects a 10% discount on the insurance policy. But it goes across the city, all everybody in our community. And if you're someone that has a $2,000 FEMA insurance policy, $200 can maybe go a long way. It's not a lot, but it is a start that could kind of help. I know we've had people come to council sharing their concerns about how expensive the insurance is. This could be a way that we could possibly help them out. Okay, at this time, this is the link to get onto our active website. So at this time, if you'll join me on your iPad or on your telephone, you can actually go to this link and pull up our program. Mike, could I have access? Okay. Technology takes me a little time.
Is there a code?
Oh. So this is what you would see. So it's this simple that someone would just come in and they would actually key in their address. So, and it gives you some options of where to do, of where to find that address. Now, on this particular address I made up, there's no such address. Sorry about that. What is it?
703 8th Street.
And you're gonna get all kind of hate mail?
It's okay.
Get it anyway, huh?
It's okay. Also not.
Okay, because it ties in with the appraisal district, as you start to key in the address, it'll actually assist you in finding the proper address. It pulls it up, it gives you a map location, it shows you a picture of the home, it gives you warnings such as letting you know that flood insurance is a requirement if you have a personal loan on your home. It gives you your flood zone. It gives you your base flood elevation, which your floor should be higher than that base flood elevation. Building information, that would be any information that we have on the building. And the good thing is that it ties into the parcel information. So Forerunner, the maker of this software, is working with the Orange County Appraisal District now. So at that time, we'd be able to find out the personal information of who owns that particular property. Everything that goes on the public page is public information. So it's just that easy. We have another side. This is our side of the software. So on this here, we keep an active log of everything that happens. So if you notice there at the bottom, Wendy Lloyd, she uploaded an elevation certificate, for 110 North 4th Street. So that was a new house that was built, it's required, and so she's already uploaded that information. But as you scroll up, if you notice the little, small yellow dots, let's see if we can. If you push on the yellow dot, it will actually pull up that information. Now, that yellow dot means that we have an elevation certificate on file. We've just started this software, so we don't have all the elevation certificates uploaded at this time. But if you know you're in an area, and as I was saying to you about the pre-assessment damage, you can just click on the parcel. So to try to find where you're at, and anytime you click on a parcel, it'll actually give you the address. Sometimes we go into a situation and there's no house numbers, but we see the house. This helps us with our damage assessment for the houses that we demolish. Another thing this software will help us to do is, we have houses that were damaged in a storm. No one's ever fixed them. Ultimately, we take the houses to court. The court orders them demolished. The city pays the contractor, we demolish the house. All of that information could be put into this program so that someone knows. Even to the extent if someone's looking to buy that house, we can actually log on there that this house was already ordered by the court to be demolished, to give them the warning, don't buy that house. Don't buy that house. So there's a lot of things we can do with this morning. I just wanted to give you a quick demonstration of what the software can do. Hopefully you see this could benefit. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I know you said that there's a public side and then there's a side that you guys have. If a person wanted to purchase a home and they wanted to really kind of know the background of it and that's not found on the website, can they make an appointment with you and get
Yes.
that information?
Okay, so yes, I can pull this information. This is our side. And if they call me and they talk to me, there's a tab here that I can share that information with them. So yes, it will automatically share that. I just have to key in their name and their email address.
Okay.
The other thing is, it keeps a log of anyone that I send information to, or anyone in the city. So Kelvin can do it, Wendy can do it, Amanda can do it. This is not just for me. Anyone in the city that has access can do this type of thing. And it keeps a log of that. So at the end of the year, when FEMA wants to know, well, how many times did you actually help a citizen with flood information? It keeps a running log.
That's good.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this, a few separate times we've had people purchase houses that were on the demolition list,
Yes, ma'am.
and they couldn't do anything about it after they purchased it. You know, they thought they could overturn it. So we are going to use this to stop that from happening,
Well, we're going to provide the information in the system.
so they will be able to go and look.
Right. If they don't look, they're not going to know.
How are they gonna know that we offer this?
Well, we hope that we'll get this on the link. I think Kelvin is going to see about having this link put on our city's website
That would be good.
where it would be accessible to the citizen.
Okay,
That's good.
Thank you.
They definitely need to know about this.
yes. Thank you.
Mr. Benoit, I just want to say thank you because this presentation was very much needed. For those who are here today, it may seem like, what is he really just talking about? These are the people who have came in 2 years ago and asked about these things, the different dealings with FEMA, and here we are now with Mr. Benoit working to establish a program that not only will allow us to show where people live, but to also address the issues of someone buying a house and didn't say that they didn't know it was gonna be torn down, or that they say we don't tear down houses, and Mr. Kelvin Now's department has done almost 200 homes in the last few years to make sure that we're cleaning up the community. And so thank you for doing this, because as we move forward, people need to understand that as a mayor and council, we are not God, and we never claim to be. And so as these inclement situations have happened in the past, and which we pray against them to never happen again in the future, we want to make sure that we are prepared, that we have the data that is necessary, because we are on the coast, and we are prone to floods and things of that nature. So thank you, Mr. Benoit, and thank you to everyone involved in this presentation.
And it's
I
important
appreciate
that
it.
our community know that they can get this information, about
Right.
this.
I do have one more question. I'm sorry. You said that, if we participate in the, there's a, I guess, a program or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Participate that we could possibly have. What are some of the things that you think that, is it something that the residents will cover in their, like a fee? Or is it something the city needs to take care of?
No, the city would come up with higher standards. So as it is now, we require the people as a minimum to be at base flood elevation.
Okay.
If we were to go into this program, we would require new construction to be 1 foot above that. And so we want them to build up higher to try to prevent flooding. Most of the GLO homes, they already have decided that they're gonna go 2 foot above base flood elevation, just as an added precaution, to hoping that they don't flood. Because if you remember the houses we built back in Rita, those same people flooded again because they built those houses slab on grade. Now, if you look at the new GLO houses, or FEMA houses, they're actually built up on pilings. And so they're actually 2 foot above the base flood elevation in hopes that those people won't flood again.
I've actually seen some of the older homes that were really pretty practically new, but they're tearing those down and redoing them the proper way. So will we be in compliance since that is what's going on, the GLO, they're redoing them? So,
Some of them are redoing, yes ma'am, we'll be in compliance. Now, it only affects the new homes. The other thing is we would have to put a restriction that we would not allow any development in the floodway. The only place this would affect us is if we ever wanted to extend out into the river, because the river would be the floodway, or extend out into Adams Bayou, because that is actually considered a floodway. So any of the major channels, we would be very restricted on what we could do as far as any kind of development in those channels.
do we have a deadline
No,
in order to participate in this?
no, just whenever we think about doing it, I'll be glad to try to have a workshop. FEMA would be more than willing to come in. Some of the FEMA reps out of Fort Worth would be willing to come in and discuss it with you more in detail, the advantages, the pros, the cons.
I think that's
Definitely, I
important.
think that's a good
Yeah,
thing for our
yeah.
community, so we definitely need to get with you to see about getting that done, so that our taxpayers can save some money somewhere.
Okay, I'll work through Kelvin and see if we can get all that information for you, man.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Goodwin.
much.
All right, thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, on to item 8B, which will be tabled at this time. We will move on to item 9A.
Mayor,
Consider.
if you would just read that one again.
Okay, item 8B, presentation on a plan for city parks, which will be tabled at this time by Mr. Devon Williams. We will move on to item 9A, ordinances, final reading. Consider an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Planning and Zoning, Section 12.606-6AG1, pertaining to accessory buildings in a historic overlay zoning district, Section 12.606-6AJ1, pertaining to facade materials in a historic overlay zoning district, 12.61121B3, pertaining to pod type and connex type containers, providing an effective date, providing a penalty clause, providing a severability clause, repealing any ordinance in conflict with this ordinance to the extent of such conflict and other matters. The first reading was November 8th, 2022. Mr. Knopf.
Yes, sir. This ordinance brings us into compliance with recent state law, and the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommends approval.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Thank you, Mr. Knopf, on this one. I know that we went back and forth between planning and zoning and council several times. And so, to finally reach a decision is definitely a win-win. Item 9B, first reading, consider an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Planning and Zoning, Section 12.303, Historic Preservation Commission, pertaining to membership, purpose, and duties of the Historic Preservation Commission, providing an effective date, providing a severability clause, repealing any ordinance in conflict with this ordinance to the extent of such conflict, and other matters. Mr. Knopf.
The Historic Preservation Commission at the November meeting made a recommendation to the City Council that the composition of the Historic Preservation Commission be changed from 5 members to 7 members plus 2 alternates. And then also that Historic Preservation Commission meet with the city council every September of every year to go over all their activities. Since it's part of the zoning ordinance, then this had to go before the Planning and Zoning Commission as well for their recommendation. And the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends that the ordinance be left as it is. So before you as an ordinance, should you want to change it, you could. So you have the Historic Preservation Commission recommending the change and Planning and Zoning Commission recommending that the ordinance remain the same as it is.
I'm gonna go with this, the zoning, that it stay the same.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Stay the same.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Knoll. On to item 10A, consider a resolution awarding a contract to Naughty Water Racing in the amount of $17,000 to host a jet ski event on March 17 through 19, 2023. Mrs. Harrell. I got it right.
Naughty Water Racing contacted us a couple months ago. They are an amateur jet ski racing organization. We really feel that obviously with the river the river being right in our backyard, it's definitely an asset to this community, bringing water attractions to the city of Orange. We think it will be a great addition to the DSR boat races that we have in May. And of course, this year the Chamber is hosting Bassmasters in June. So we're hoping that brings in some excitement and that will start off the water activity for 2023.
All right, thank you, Ms. Harrell. Will Rudy's Kebabs be out there?
We can only hope.
Okay, there we go. All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Harrell.
Thank you.
On to item 10B, consider a resolution awarding a contract to Burn Show Contractor Incorporated in the amount of $926,995 for the clarifier rehabilitation. Mr. Adam Jack.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and members of council. This is a rehabilitation of our wastewater treatment clarifiers that were damaged by an incident earlier this year. This contract will repair our clarifiers there in the plant and be reimbursed through insurance claim.
That's always great to hear the reimbursement part. Okay, any comments or questions for Mr. Jack? Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Jack. And Mr. Jack, I'll also ask that after the meeting, we could please get with Mr. Spencer and Mr. Sullivan to maybe listen to their questions and concerns following.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay. On to item 11A, consider a motion acknowledging the notice of novation of an extraterritorial jurisdiction non-annexation agreement dated March 1st, 2020 by and between the City of Orange, Texas and Chevron Phillips Chemical Company, LP, to Golden Triangle Polymers Company, LLC, formerly known as Chevron Phillips Gulf Coast, LLC. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. So Mayor and Council, the city formally received notification of this notice of novation. It's just a legal term in terms of substitution of a new contract in place of an old one. So in this case, what we all have been referring to as CP Chem since 2016 officially now becomes Golden Triangle Polymers or simply GT Polymers. That's what we've been asked to do, is to refer to it as GT Polymers or Golden Triangle Polymers. That's the official name of the joint venture moving forward. So that being said, we have several agreements that tie in, a non-annexation agreement, Chapter 212, and some other action items that we've taken since March of 2016. So moving forward, any additional communications and any other additional documents that come our way, we will refer to it as either Golden Triangle Polymers or GT Polymers. So subject to your approval, then we'll have taken action based on a request from Chevron Phillips Chemical for this project.
Okay.
I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
That is the only change, is just the name in the contract, that's it.
As far as we know right now, what was proposed was an $8.5 billion capital investment, 4,500 to 6,000 construction jobs over a 4 to 5 year period, and 550 full-time jobs upon project completion. That's what we know at this point in time. So,
I had to look up the word novation.
yeah, it's just a substitution.
we acting on this now?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Here we have,
second it.
here we have a motion from Mr. Birch, a second from Mrs. Salter. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Trahan. It's definitely a wonderful update to provide to the community. Okay, item 11B, consider a motion approving action taken by the EDC concerning final change order number 5 for Allco Construction at Eagle Point Parkway Phase 1 in the amount of $37,195.25. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. So Mayor and Council, this was discussed in great detail at the earlier morning EDC meeting. So now it just moves to you as a council action item, subject to your approval, basically supporting the decision of the EDC.
We have a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Trahan. Item 11C, consider a motion approving action taken by the EDC concerning the designation of 25% from monthly EDC sales tax revenue for future infrastructure projects for the purpose of economic development. Mr. Trahan.
Again, this was discussed in detail at the morning EDC meeting, which was resulted in this recommendation to you as a council to approve moving forward with the January 2023 sales tax payment, which for the record, we receive the second Friday of each month, which is a 2-month look. So, subject to your approval, we'll move forward with this new action plan.
Okay, do I have a motion or a second?
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Trahan. Item 11D, consider a motion approving the purchase of 10 butterfly benches from Cricket Forge, sole supplier, in the amount of $41,081, and approving installing the benches at Sunset Park, City Hall, Lions Den Park, Neighborhood Facilities Building, Old City Hall, Navy Park, and Cove Recreational Area. Mr. Knopf.
Included in this year's budget, the council added money for streetscape improvements, and so we started looking at things that we can do to make Orange higher quality, dress up Orange in certain areas, as well as provide functionality. And we came across these butterfly benches. This is a sample of one that's unfinished, but you can see how the bench, this is the front of the bench, you can see where there's a seating area for people that are walking by, need a place to sit for a little while, or just want to sit and picture taking. These are some of the color pictures of ones that the company is doing for other folks. And so this is an orange and black one, kind of like a butterfly, and we really like this one, and then also the next one, Mike. This is another one that we really like, the orange, yellow, and black, and then also we're looking at buying one that would be silver and blue to go with Navy Park. And so anyway, we think these are very attractive. We think they've got a lot of character to the community. We think they're very functional, and so we're looking at buying 10 of these and putting them at the locations that the mayor read and everything. But we think these are really something that people could notice, and we hope they really like it, because we're really excited about these butterfly benches, and we're going to continue to work. There's going to be some other things coming to you in future council meetings for the streetscape improvements, and we just think it just adds a lot to the character of the community.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's not
It's
his.
pretty seeing that
Yes.
Sunset Park on 16.
Yeah, beautifying it even more.
Yes, very nice. I like the blue and silver idea too. Just make sure when we put one, if we put one on North of I-10, make sure you get green and gold, or you might get in trouble. All right, I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Motion passes. And thank you, Mr. Knopf, for always doing your best to try to clean up and beautify. You know, we spoke earlier about the work that your department's doing to tearing down the dilapidated houses. You know, Mr. Benoit coming through with the presentation earlier on the floodplain. We're definitely doing our best to put our city forward, and I appreciate it. Okay. On to item 11. Let's see where we are now. 11E, consider a motion appointing such and such as a full member to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a term ending December 31st, 2024. I see that we have 3 of those. So also consider a motion appointing 3 full members to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a term ending December 31st, 2024. Mr. Knopf.
Yes, sir, there are currently, 3 positions coming vacant on the Board of Adjustment at the end of this month, and then we have 3 applicants, plus we have 1 person who serves as an alternate, that you have the choice of moving that alternate to a full member if you wanted to, so.
Are they willing to?
Yes, oh, yes.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's, we just need to have these, positions appointed.
Okay, do you have the, I know the names, want me to read them from here?
Yes, sir, you can.
I gotta scroll, you know, it's way down there, 1 second.
And so, and one would be an alternate, right?
Well, it depends on what you do.
Oh,
If you
okay.
promote the alternate and then you appoint 2 of the 3 applicants as full members, then you can either appoint the 3rd applicant as an alternate, or just not fill the alternate position.
Okay.
So it depends on what
I would like
you
to.
do.
Motion for us per line item.
Yeah, we need each one, each position.
Give me the name.
I'd like
I'm
to,
sorry, when I scroll, take one time to get back up. You have a name?
I'd like to reappoint Tommy Henry
Okay.
as a reappointment. He's always there, he's very active.
Okay, so Tommy Henry, do we have a motion for Tommy Henry?
Second.
Can we have a second? Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Childs?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Lupe.
Todd Loop? What do you think?
L-U-P.
Okay, Todd Loop?
If you would read
Okay.
it.
Was-
Do you-
is he an alternate?
agenda?
Okay, yes, sir, sorry about that. 11F, consider a motion appointing Todd Luke as a full member to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a term ending December 31st, 2024. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter, I'm sorry. Mr. Childs?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And so we have one more. We have Edward Freeberg and,
Well, and then you have the alternate, Mark Farrell.
or so either, if we either gonna choose.
If you appoint Mr. Freiberg as a full member, reappoint him as a full member, then Mr. Farrell would continue on as an alternate member until December of next year, when his term would expire.
Okay, I know Mr. Freiberg.
I know him.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so consider a motion appointing Mark Freiberg as a full member to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a term ending December 31st, 2024.
Ed Freiberg.
Ed Freiberg, I'm sorry, Ed Freiberg. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Burge?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
And Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And then the last name is?
Mayor, we don't need to do this one because he will continue
Automatically?
as an alternate until next year anyway,
Okay.
so this one we can just withdraw.
Okay, so, item 11H, consider a motion appointing, such and such as an alternate member to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a long term ending December 31st, 2024 will be tabled because it is fulfilled, right? Gotta read it. Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Knopf. On to city manager report.
Mayor, council, just a reminder, tonight is the chamber banquet, kicking off at 6, from 6:30 is the social half hour. Also, City Hall will be closed Friday from noon to 2 for a luncheon. And then, this afternoon, starting at 1, there's going to be a public hearing regarding county-wide polling places. If that's something we're going to move to, that's today at 1 at the, Commissioner's Courtroom, which at 2 o'clock, they're going to do a little reception for Ms. Beecher, as this is her last meeting, so I'm going to attend. Merry Christmas.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Coons. City council report, starting on the left.
No report.
Okay, Ms. McKenna.
Merry Christmas to everyone. Christmas blessings to each of you and your families on that blessed day. And best wishes for the best 2023 ever.
Ms. Salter.
And same here, wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas. And, a great new beginning. The next year.
No report.
No report. Okay, so before we close out, I would like to finish, this is our last meeting of the year. So I would like to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for every member of city council, city staff, every employee, everyone that has done anything to be involved with making our city better. You know, today we have a few comments that come up, and I just want to say a few words because I want you to understand my heart and what's going on here. Leading as this mayor, it's definitely a task that I feel is an assignment from God that He's put on my life. One of the things that I thank Him for is the opportunity to serve. We don't always get it right. We always find out about some new situation each and every day. However, please understand that with this city being 186 years old, there are things that come about. There are things that we have to experience, and that once we find out what they are, we will address them as they come. People at one time said we have no hospital, and now we're building a hospital. They once said we have no place for our children to play, and we just finished a $3 million recreation center. We just brought in businesses like never before. Not only fast food, but also GT Polymers, no longer Chevron Phillips for us, with $8.5 billion worth of a business coming to a community that's gonna offer 4,500 to 6,000 jobs in a city of 19,324 people. So that's almost 25% of our capacity of what we have here, and yet we have to look at the bright side and say, yeah, as we're getting these blessings and as we're growing, are we gonna continue to find other inclement situations? Yep, because that's what happens in this world. That's what happens in life. But I never want us to lose focus of how good God has been to us, how blessed we are, and that in these inclement situations, we will not run from them, we will address them, and we will look forward to making things better in 2023. So once again, thank you to all of you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I hope that you all have a blessed time with your families as we move forward. So with that being said, we will now adjourn to close executive session. Deliberation with city attorney pursuant to chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Deliberation with legal counsel pursuant to Texas Government Code section 551.071. Consultation with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation, Everett Green and Donetta Wagner versus the City of Orange. Also, item 2, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property as authorized by Texas Government Code section 551.072 regarding the purchase of real property located at 502 Mill Street in Orange, Texas. And also item 3, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property as authorized regarding the 96 Elm Street in Orange, Texas, and deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, item 13B1, deliberation regarding economic development matters pursuant to Texas Government Code, section 551.087, regarding possible municipal services requested by CP Chem, Golden Triangle Polymers, and Zachary Construction Corporation. At this time, if you're not a part of the immediate council or staff, you're welcome to hang out in the library. I will let you know that from what I have read, these deliberations will take quite a while. So if you do not need anything that is urgent, you are welcome to catch up with us in 2023 or wait until we reconvene at a later time today. Thank you. You ready? Okay, we will reconvene in open session, take action as necessary regarding items 13A1. So council has a motion to approve the mediated settlement. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, item passes. Item 13.2, turn this over to Mr. Goodson for item 2 and 3.
Yes, sir. On item 2, Mayor and Council, there's no additional action to be taken as you already authorized purchase of the Elm Street property, and we will proceed. On item C, we would recommend that the council authorize your manager and attorney to proceed with the purchase of the Mill Street property, amending portions of the contract, provided the city will acquire the property by deed without warranties.
Okay, we have so we'll make a motion on that. We have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Birch?
Aye.
Ms. McKenna?
Aye.
Ms. Salter?
Aye.
Mr. Childs?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. On item 13B1, there is no action to be taken at this time. So with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion second, third, and fourth. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.